Girls, I am fully expected to come on this show and give glamour, fever, fire, blah, blah, blah. But the episode was so heavy. It was a very heavy premiere. So the fire, the glamour, the fever, honey, she's on hold. She's on hold. We don't know when she'll be back. There's no reason for me to have been crying 5 minutes into the episode. Heavy boobs. I understand what we're talking about, what the theme of the show is and everything, but Lord Jesus. Anywho, so we begin with Blanca and Pretel going down to not the coroner's office, but like where funeral dead folks residence resort. I don't know. They're going to see the remains of Pretel's ex-boyfriend Kenyon. Was his name Kenyon? Kenyon. And I was shocked to find out that Kenyon was dead, because last thing we saw of Kenyon, he didn't have the virus. He wasn't, afraid of getting the virus. Pretel had the virus, and he was like, whatever, man, we just gonna go together. It's fine. Next thing we know, we come back on the premiere. Kenyon is deceased. I was shocked. We find out that he pushed everyone away and died alone in his apartment in the dead of summer in New York City, where they don't have central heat and air. And his body just kind of melted into the mattress because it was so hot, and he was dead so long. It was 3 weeks before anyone found him. And that rocked me. It barocked my body, as Todrick Hall once said. We move on to find out that they are quarantining the people who died of AIDS, quarantining their bodies. And Pretel's like, quarantining their bodies? They're dead. What are you quarantining? And the woman says, well, we don't know how it spread. It is 1990. AIDS had been an epidemic, considered an epidemic, I believe, since 1985. You're telling me, and AIDS had been around longer than that, but I'm saying it was considered an epidemic, I believe, in 85. So you're telling me that in at least 5 years, at most 5 years, you haven't been able to figure out how the AIDS virus is spread. That is a true testament to the fact that it was, I don't even want to get to, y'all know I don't try to get too political on this channel, but they didn't want to cure it because they knew who it was killing. Now, when it started killing the other girls, then it was like, oh, wait a minute, straight people died, white people died, wait. Because as most of us know, those of us who know history and have studied, AIDS was a white gay person's disease. It was only a perk to, Ronald Reagan and them, that black gay people started getting it, black and brown gay people started getting it. That was just a bonus to them. It was only when straight people, straight white women, started getting it, because the gay white men would, be on the down low and go home and sleep with their straight white wives. Very much, what was Angel's boyfriend's name? Not saying that Angel's boyfriend was gay, but on that tip, like sneaking around and then going home to his wife, that kind of thing. Is Evan Peters going to be back this season? I have no idea. Anyway, so they're quarantining the bodies, and why are you separating dead bodies, girl? The dead people aren't going to get AIDS. They're dead. The ones that didn't have it, they're dead. This little piece of bent ear, tuck that right on in. Don't look over there. Don't look. It was so weird. So they're putting the AIDS patients in an old, the AIDS victims at this point, the ones who have succumbed, they're putting them in an old tuberculosis ward. So weird that in 1990 y'all haven't figured out. Whatever. It's just a testament to the fact that they did not want it cured. They didn't. We see Blanca at the doctor's. Is Sandra Bernhard a doctor? Is she a nurse? She's just in the hospital all the time. I guess she's a doctor. But she calls Blanca on back. Come on back, girl. Hey. And her demeanor and the message she was sending just were two different, complete. I was like, what? Because she was like, hey, girl. Okay, so here's your chart. Blah, 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 blah. And Blanca was like, excuse me, sweetie. I didn't go to anybody's medical or nursing school. Break it down to me, the Jenny from the block way. And then she says, okay, so you got these cells in your body, T cells. You need those. Those are something you need to fight your virus. A couple of yours have gone on vacation. You're low. Your T cells are low. And what that means is we have to now consider you someone with AIDS rather than someone with HIV. Blanca was like, wait a minute, wait, hold on, wait, AIDS? I have AIDS. AIDS. Like, it was almost as if the thought of her getting AIDS was just so foreign to her. And that shows you how optimistic Blanca is. Because it's like, girl, I understand that you're eating right, you're taking care of your body, all of these things, but you're not on any medicine. You're taking your Flintstone vitamins. Fred ain't gonna help you. Fred, you know, as strong as he was, we've all seen Fred Flintstone pick up his car, pick up a dinosaur, you know, pick up the pterodactyl ribs. Y'all remember how big the pterodactyl ribs were on the Flintstones? They look delicious. But as strong as Fred is, he can't help you fight this virus. And that's another prime example of the miseducation that they spread back in the day about HIV and AIDS. It's like, girl, you eating healthy, you're not drinking no more, and all of that, and that's good. But this is an inside battle. You know, you changing your eating habits and all of that, happy for you, but this is something that's going on in your bloodstream. So now she's thinking about her kids. What are they going to do? And I'm like, it's strange in a way to me, because last season we saw her have her moment of, you know, mortality when she found out she had HIV, and she cried to Angel and she was saying, you know, you have to take over the house when I'm gone. You have to be the house mother. And I guess all of that just, you know, she Men in Black lightning flashed herself and forgot about the fact that she already knew that it was a possibility that she could die, because this was brand new news to her, it felt like. And I was like, oh, Blanca, no, I feel for you, Lil Shaka Khan. It was pulling at my heartstrings. I was in there sobbing, girl. A quiet sob, but a sob nonetheless. I was like, wait a minute. I was doing the Candace from Real Housewives of Potomac tissue in the corner of my eye. I was doing that because it was like, oh, I don't want my girl to die. I also am so confused about her mindset about this situation. Like, I want to jump in the screen and tell everybody everything I know about the disease and how we can fight it and what's to come, you know, but I can't because it's TV. So Sandra Bernhardt's character, I don't know what this nurse's name is. I really don't. Or doctor. She gives Blanca AZT. Now, those of us who were born after the epidemic and the pandemic had died down, a lot of us don't know about AZT. I personally follow theater. And in the theater, a lot of people died of AIDS, so I'm familiar with AZT, but it's a medicine that kind of slowed the progression of the virus. And what I found out in this episode, because I have never heard this before, I've heard of AZT, I've heard of plenty of people taking AZT and this and that, and I heard that it slowed the progression of the virus. But Blanca said that Pray Tell told her, don't I sound like somebody on the block? Blanca had told me that Pray Tell told her, but you ain't hear this from me, that AZT does your body like chemo. And I hadn't heard that. Maybe, you know, it's just something I missed, but I feel like, girl, take the AZT. Take it, sis. Pop those AZTs, and, you know, we can slow the progression, figure out something. And Sandra Bernhardt was like, yeah, girl, take the medicine, because there's a cure on the horizon. You just have to live long enough to see it. Now, we haven't found the cure, but we've found plenty of ways for people to live with HIV and AIDS. Plenty of ways. So, live long enough, Blanca. Live long enough, because if Blanca dies, I said on Twitter, if Blanca dies, I'm shooting everybody. Everybody must die. Pew, pew, everybody gonna die. Kevin Hart, one of his only funny jokes. Anywho, another thing that really got me before I move on, Sandra Bernhard told Blanca that if she didn't get, you know, proactive with her medications and you know, stop being in denial, that she only had 6 months to live. And I was like, wait a minute. Wait. Hold the phone. Get the phone in your hand. Hold it. 6 months? No, ma'am. No, man, if Blanca dies, I'm shooting everybody. Shooting everybody. Everybody. Anyway, She talks about how she's worried about the children and what they're gonna do after she's gone, and they're not gonna do nothing because you're not gonna die, because if you do, I'm shooting everybody, period. We move on. She's at work, and on the radio we hear strike a pose. Can I just take a moment? I know that I'm wearing a rainbow headband and telling the girls about homosexuals, but listen, I have never, and I don't think I will ever, appreciate Madonna. I don't like her. I don't like her. She don't bless me. She has never influenced me. She has never introduced me to anything. And a lot of people want to say, oh, Madonna brought Vogue into Vogue. No, she didn't. No, she didn't. Like, girl, it's so ugly. It's so ugly. She put out a song and she capitalized on what black and brown gay and trans people were doing underground and made it mainstream and kind of took the spark away from it. Kind of made it like, oh, everybody's voguing. I'm the type of person that ballroom culture is so special. It is so special. I never in my life want to see a white woman. I can do a white gay man on occasion, but I don't really want to see white people voguing. I don't, because when I see these things, I think about how people have been beaten, people have been murdered, people have been shot, hung, raped, all sorts of things, simply for being black and doing black things. And then the moment white people think it's fun and cute and, you know, all of that, then here we go. Oh yes, everyone's voguing. Oh yes, white rappers are rapping. And then we get niggas like, excuse me, I'm so sorry. We get crackers like Iggy Azalea. Look, see, this is why it has taken me so long to come up here and do this review, because I get heated. Iggy Azalea rapping, taking black culture, rapping, and then in her rap song, mind you, rap is black culture, saying that she is a runaway slave, pause, master. How do you take rap from black people and make it racist? I could never, and white people do that all the time, and that's how I feel about Vogue. My point is, that's how I feel about Vogue. I feel like Madonna took something from black and brown people and just kind of made it racist simply by making it be something that Madonna has brought into Vogue. It's ugly. Moving along, we see Miss Candy for the first time. I was so happy to see her, but God, she is a bitter hoe. Candy and Lulu are two of the most bitter individuals, and it's like, dang, I really like y'all in real life. You know, Angelica Ross and Haley, God, I can't remember her last name right now, and I'm not gonna wrap my brain trying to figure it out. Those two are so fun on Twitter. Like, they're good times and they're beautiful, and I fell in love with Angelica Ross on Claws. Season 1, she was Karuchi's character, Virginia's roommate. Loved her demeanor, like, but watching them on this show, it's like, oh, y'all are so trash. Trash, and for what? We are here having a good time, and here y'all go. Anywho, we see Angel, and she's sitting outside, and the wind is blowing in her hair, and I said, I know my Angel's not back on the pier. I know my sis isn't on the corner, but she is. She sees a taxi cab pull up to the pier, and she leans in and says, you know, hello, hey Joe, you want to give it a go? Itchy, yeah, ta. And Blanca pops out the back seat of the taxi saying, excuse me, daughter, we talked about this. We're not doing the pier. We're doing something else. We're getting a job. And she's like, I can't be a waitress or a maid. That ain't for me. And I understand, but then also, Pray Tell told you were selling your booty hole for quarters last season. That would have affected me. But Blanca tells Angel about a modeling contest that they're having, because God, I'm sorry y'all, my brain is going in all sorts of different directions. Angel and Lil Poppy were playing around taking pictures on a Polaroid camera, and Blanca looked at the pictures and she was like, oh, my baby is cute, like most mothers do. And she's telling Angel, you know, try out for this competition, and Angel's like, excuse me, I don't know if you knew this, but they're not looking for girls like us. Hashtag girls like us. They're looking for something else. Something different? Something different. What can we do different? Shout out to Ella Fitzgerald. But Blanca is such an optimist. My nose, I'm stopping up. Blanca is such an optimist, and she's just like, yeah, girl, you can do it. And Angel's like, well, maybe I can do it. Maybe I can. We don't know. Let's see. We're at a funeral. I don't know whose funeral this is exactly. I'm not sure. We saw him in the casket, and I'm like, I kind of recognize him. Am I supposed to know who he is? Y'all comment below if you're aware of who this deceased gentleman was. But while we're at the funeral, Candy and Lulu are being shady and just talking pure trash. And I mean, some of what they were saying, like, give me my flowers while I'm still alive, makes sense, but they were so rude about it. And at the man's, memorial service, it was rude. And Pray Tell, squeezes in between them and says, y'all are some hard-hearted hoes. Show this man some respect at his funeral. The nerve. And they kind of saunter off. They leave, I guess. They were sick of it. It's like, why even come if you're going to be bitter? Why even show up? Sandra Blandhart pops in. She sits down next to Prey and is saying, what's your head count? This is my, 452nd memorial. This is Pray Tell's 210th. I have not been to that many funerals in my 25 years of living. And I don't plan to. I can't imagine being at that many memorial services in the span of, 3 years? Because season 1 was 3 years ago. It was 87. I cannot imagine going to 452 funerals ever, let alone in the span of 3 years. Pray Tell at the beginning of the episode said he had been to 3 funerals that week. I ain't been to 3 funerals in a decade. Quiet as it's kept. Child, I never. Anyway, they leave the funeral after, paying their respects, and Sandra Bernhard wants to take Pray Tell to the Act Up You Can Get Snatched Up meeting, and Pray Tell is like, y'all too white for me. I won't be able to do it. Y'all are white. Y'all don't suffer. This, that, and the other. And Sandra was like, girl, we got all sorts of people in here. We got lesbians. We got homosexuals, homo sapiens, bisexuals, trisexuals, homo sapiens, carcinogens, hallucinogens, men, Pee-wee Herman. a little rent for you. But we got all sorts of people in here. Black, white, brown, Puerto Rican, the Asian. It don't matter who you are. We want Hip Hop Nation. Little Cheetah Girls for you. What is wrong with me? I love the Cheetah Girls. I need to go back and watch that. Anywho, she's like, everybody in here. Pray Tell walks in there. There's this, white lesbian up on the stage, and she's like, they killing us. And the Vatican is I got to be honest and let you know that I tuned out what Whitefish was saying, because I just didn't expect to see a white woman giving a speech on Pose. that that wasn't Evan Peters' wife. But yeah, she was talking about how they killing us, and condoms, and the protesty things, and they're staging a die-in down to the church, and act up, fight back, you can get snatched up, fight AIDS. I don't know. Act up, you can get snatched up. Act up, you can fight AIDS. That's the remix. But not the City Girls remix, because we know they're homophobic. Anywho, Pray Tell is now suddenly very invested. They chant, act up, fight back, fight AIDS. And Pray Tell is like, oh yes, act up, fight back, fight AIDS. And now all of a sudden he's Marsha Pay It No Mind Johnson Luther King Jr. I'm like, what is going on? He went to one meeting that he protested going to. He sits in there. He wakes up the next morning and he is Martha P. Johnson Luther King Jr. I was like, what? All of a sudden, just, okay, girl, you be an activist. You do you. Angel is going to be the new face of 1990. And for those of us educated and sophisticated women who know our history, they're giving Tracy Africa tease. Now, if you reach back in your mind, those of you who were alive in the early 90s, late 80s, there was a Miss Clairol advertisement with a black lady on it. I think she was the first black lady on the Miss Clairol advertisements. Probably the only black lady, because Miss Clairol don't advertise for her hair color no more. But if you go back and you look at the Miss Clairol of the early 90s, that is Miss Tracy Africa, a legendary trans woman. And I feel like that's the tea that they're gonna kind of have Angel. Like that's where they're pulling her storyline. She's gonna be the face of something. I feel like it, because she's got a face. Angel has a face of an angel. She is beautiful. That is a stunning woman. Angel is a stunning woman. India Moore is a stunning, non-binary individual. Because if you did not know, the actress who plays Angel, India Moore, is non-binary and goes by they/them pronouns. So not she, not he, they. But they're going to this competition, and Blanca is going, drop her daughter off. Yeah, going on in there. We'll see you when you come out. And Angel's like, I don't want to go by myself. And Blanca's like, if I go in there, the jig is up. It's up. And I'm like, honestly, I think Blanca is gorgeous. I know a lot of people that like, Blanca looks, blah, blah, blah. The things that they say. I think Blanca looks like a lady to me. MJ Rodriguez looks like a girl to me. Maybe that's because I when you tell me you a girl, you a girl. Period. But she looks like a woman to me. But a lot of people, especially black people, love to look at these shows and try to pick out, and I just be like, girl, she said she a girl. She a girl. MJ Rodriguez is a woman. Period. But she sends Angel back by herself. Angel goes and talks to Anna Wintour Jr. And Anna Wintour Jr. is like, you took these photographs on an instant camera? Huh. Okay, innovative. You are going to need professional photos. And Angel's like, I ain't got no money. I have none. Best I can do. And Anna Wintour is like, well, listen, if you want to be in the business, you have to invest in, what you want to do. And that's true. A lot of y'all know, a lot of y'all don't. I used to model back when I was thin and demure, when I was little. And, you got to buy headshots. You got to pay for headshots. You have to pay for people to record, like, professionally. Well, now you don't, but y'all know I'm old. Back in the day, you had to pay the man to come to your house with the video camera and record your audition, and you would send the VHS girl the tape down to the people, and they would review it. Now you can just record it on your phone and email it in, but back in the day, you would have to like pay for these things. And this is before I was even born, so I'm certain you had to pay for every step of trying to get into the business. Anywho, so she's like, you have to invest in your future. And she writes down on a piece of paper, go to this photographer, tell them, Anna Wintour Jr. sent you, and you'll get my discount. And then she says, I heard, I see on your paper you can vogue. Because Blanca was like, make sure you tell him you can vogue. Because Blanca's like, Madonna. Madonna is bringing Vogue into the mainstream. We're going to be mainstream now. And I'm like, oh, if only you knew. If only you knew. Sis, no, voguing became mainstream. You girls did not. Y'all didn't. And I hate it. I hate it because y'all know it just doesn't make any sense for people to see gay people or trans people and be like, different, because they're people. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, I don't see, depending on what day it is. Generally, if I see a white person, I'm like, I'm not like, different. I'm just like, oh, it's a white person. Okay, work. And I go about my day. I don't understand people, and I'm speaking about black people because trans, black, and Latina and Afro-Latina, which is a cross of the two, trans women are being murdered at a ridiculous rate. Ridiculous. I've seen in the last month maybe 5 or 6 different women who have been murdered by black people, black men. And I just don't understand. If you're not interested in a trans person, don't date a trans person. If you see a trans person walking down the street and that somehow offends you, turn away. Close your eyes. I don't understand why somebody minding their business would offend you. But if it offends you so much, turn your eyes. Avert. Why do you have to murder? Like, that's so crazy to me. Anywho, girl. See, this is why this episode was so heavy. It was so heavy. And it gave me so many different feelings. Anywho, so she does a few little Vogue moves, and and Anna Wintour Jr. is like, oh, I like that. I think that's great. Just very, older white lady. That is so nice. great job. And so, Angel comes out, tells her mama and her brother that she made it into the, the next round. She's in the semifinals. And, we celebrate. We thank God. Now we're back at home, getting ready to have family dinner. And oregano is an herb. We hear Damien talking about how oregano is a vegetable. And pray tell is sitting in the living room hollering, oregano is an herb, darling boy. Who is teaching these children about their, about their fruits and vegetables? Who's teaching them about their nutrition? And I just love Pray Tell for that. I love him because he reads a lot. And I always love a good read. But he also educates a lot. And that's fun for me. I love that. Because I grew up with that. I grew up, like I've told y'all, my mama was a hairstylist, and we grew up in the Kojic Church's music department, the two most heavily homosexual populated, gay black man populated industries I can think of. Now, I'm talking about the 90s and the early 2000s. Now, makeup artistry. They love the makeup artistry. But back in the day, it was the Church of God in Christ music department and the salon. So I just grew up around a whole lot of Pray Tell influences, and I love it. I really do. Blanca's at the table talking about how they going mainstream because Madonna done brought Vogue into Vogue. I really want to sit her down and say, Blanca, you're being too optimistic. It's not going to happen. What happened is Vogue came out, Paris is Burning came out, and then Pepper LaBeija, Dorian Corey, Willie Ninja, and them went on Sally Jesse Raphael or whatever, 2 or 3 little talk shows and talked about voguing and ball culture very briefly. And then everybody went back underground. Everybody went back underground. And everybody went so far underground that ballroom culture is just now starting to be acknowledged because of this show. Like in just regular conversation. Oh yeah, and the gays have their little dance parties. I've heard, conversations similar to that now. And I'm just now finding out about them, but they've been going on for Lord knows how long. I've heard that, and it's like, girl, how do you not know about the functions? How do you not know? It's so weird to me. But I participate in gay culture. So it things I know. These are things I know, and things that people who just sit at home and I don't know, girl, watch Reba and NCIS. I don't know how you just I don't know how other people live, girl. I don't know. Anywho, Blanca is telling Damien, girl, whoever, little boy, that he will be teaching voguing classes down at the Y. I'm like, is he not still in school? What about Helena St. Rogers? The legendary Helena St. Rogers. My fave, who gave me Shirley Ralph teas. Where is she? I want her back. When I had her to myself, I didn't want her around. Not true, I loved her. Those pretty faces always seem to stand out in the crowd. Anywho, let me move on, girl. I don't even think I'm halfway through this episode. Pray Tell is telling everyone about the die-in that they're having down to the church. And for those of you who don't watch the show and don't understand what a die-in is, it's like a sit-in, but you lay like you dying. You lay on the ground as if you have died or are dying. And he's telling everybody, hey, y'all, come on down to the die-in because I'm now Marsha Payne, no mind, Johnson Luther King Jr. And, Angel's like, well, I got a photo shoot on Saturday, and everybody's like, I've got this, I've got that. And Pray Tell is like, no, you don't. We're going to fight the powers that be. We're going to do our due diligence. Electra comes in. She looks so good. Electra is beautiful. She comes in and she plops down and she got a bad attitude, and I'm like, girl, what happened to your humble spirit? You had got humble. You had done got humble, and now you turned around and you back to your old ways because somebody's providing her with a little piece of coin. So Electra is the type of hoe that when she gets a little bit of money, she just completely changes. I don't know that life because I cannot be anybody but me. But she gets wealthy and she gets just, I'm that girl. I am the Electra Abundance, Evangelista Ferocity. It's just like, girl, no one has time. I think I said last season that she pulls her influence, the character's influence, from Pepper LaBeija, but Pepper LaBeija was so much nicer than Electra Abundance, Evangelista Ferocity, like so much nicer. Moving along, they ask Electra where she's getting all the money for these luxurious minks and furs, these furs and jewelries, and because she's waitressing or hostessing down at a fancy restaurant, and somebody, I think Angel asked her, like, are you stealing these items? Electra says, Electra doesn't mop. I said, now, if you turn back in your Bible with me, suppose season 1, episode 1, when they broke into the museum and stole all Marie Antoinette's old dresses, that's mopping. If you turn back in your Bible with me to season 1, episode further down in the season, they stole from the little man to be out there at Christmas time. What is it? The dude that be ringing the bell for Christmas with the red bucket. Stole that. Salvation Army, I think it is, that has the charity bucket. What you talking about? Electra don't mop. Electra has all the mopping we've seen on the show. All of it, I think, has been spearheaded by the Electra Abundance, Evangelista Ferocity. What are you talking about? You don't mop, girl? Shut up. Shut up. Yes, you do. Lies. Let's see. Blanca goes to work and she's done her full day and she's on her way to the die-in, because all of a sudden this is the most important thing. And I understand fighting for your rights and all of that, but it's just kind of strange to me how we just found out about this, but this is the most important thing in our lives, to the point where Blanca's boss is like, I need you to do this, these 2 clients before you go. And Blanca's like, I'm not gonna be able to do it, I'm sorry. And Blanca's boss is like, well, I only hired you because I'm a good Christian woman and blah, blah, blah. And no other place will take you because ladies like ladies doing their nails. And I'm just here to say that I've gotten my nails done by a couple few men, and they do a good job. They do just as well as the women. But the point is, Blanca is a woman, so I don't know what this lady was talking about. And I don't know why she had to throw Christianity in there. Anywho, Blanca quits. Long story short, she not only quits, she says she's going to start her own nail salon, and she's going to buy her old nail salon off the Christian nail salon owner lady. I was like, you're making big promises, Blanca. You're making big promises. I hope you do it, but girl, I don't know. Anywho, so they go on down to the die-in, and they're at the die-in. Everybody, is at the church, and it looked kind of inconspicuous, but kind of not, because homosexual. You can well, I can. When you see a gay person come into a room, it's like, oh yeah, sis, work. I don't know how the white Christians down at that church felt, but if I saw just a group of homosexuals come in my church, I'd be like, all right, I'm finna go sit with them. But because I know it would be good kiki. But they were sitting in the aisles, very inconspicuous, giving, yes, we're here, we're in the aisles, we're going to pray with you. And then all of a sudden they just all come out to the aisles and drop down on the floor. Then the police come in. I'm like, who called you? Who dialed 911? They bust in through the back, and you see arrests, and Angel said something about, condoms help not spread HIV, but abstinence really don't do nothing but erase sexuality. I was like, girl, some people just don't want to have sex. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. For those that do, that kind of does erase your sexuality. But then there are girls that just don't want to. But whatever. I get what you're saying, though. Anywho, long story short, the police bust in. Next thing we know, we see Angel down at the photographer's office, and she's getting her makeup done, and the photographer comes in, and he's like, give me the room. How many looks are we shooting today? And Angel's like, well, I only got money for 1 look, so 1. And he's like, I've seen you down at the pier. She's like, I don't think that was me. It must have been somebody else. I have one of those faces. He's like, no, you don't have one of those faces. You have a face that I remember. And I remember seeing you down at the pier. And she's like, girl, don't tell nobody. don't spill my tea. And he's like, I'm gonna give you this photo shoot. We're gonna make it the best photo shoot you've ever had, because you've never had a photo shoot. It's gonna be luxurious. in exchange, I just need you to take a couple pictures for my private collection. I was like, ooh, not the private collection, Lord. And she's like, all right, cool. So they take these pictures. They're taking glamour shots. They have different locations and different costumes, and also it's just a lot going on. Now, again, I used to model back in the day. It brought me back. It brought me back. The last time I had a photo shoot, I was 17, so it's been nearly 10 years. What is that, 8 years? But girl, I served. I served. It really brought me back. I was like, dang, I kind of want to go back to modeling. But I'm in nobody's shape right now. I'm in nobody's shape. Anywho, they take all these pictures, and it's like, okay, work. And then he's like, all right, time for the private collection. I'm like, wait a minute. I thought he was playing. I didn't think he was playing, but I was like, no. He tells her to take off her robe, or her, she has something on. Take it off. She takes it off and is covering, hands across her chest, covering her breasts. And, he snaps a photo or two, and then he tells her to take those off too. We see her panties hit the floor. I said, no, not getting naked, not fully naked. No, not my girl. And he takes it a step further, and first of all tells her to move her hands, I think, and he snapped a picture, and then he tells her to touch it. Now we all know that is Angel's biggest insecurity. She hates it. So I was sitting here like, no, not my girl. No, like I was hurt for her, genuinely hurt for her. But he snaps the pictures. Let's see. The category is runway. Candy and Lulu come out on the runway. I thought they looked decent. Was this runway or was this something else? Anyway, they came out, girl, dressed like peasants, and I was like, what's going on? They had a pitchfork, and it looked like the Swiss Miss Yodelay Who lady. They come out, and I thought they looked nice. They were serving. They had moves. They slid to the side and came back together and held hands. I was like, oh, cute. But Pray Tell dragged them. I was like, dang, can they get a break? That's probably why they're so bitter. Every time they on screen, they get dragged. But then we see the House of Evangelista come out, and Electra came out with this, pink Marie Antoinette ensemble on. I kind of thought it was ugly a little bit, but I was like, we got a theme here, so let's just go with the theme. They bring out a guillotine. I said, not a guillotine. As soon as I'm saying guillotine, Lord, Pray Tell is saying, y'all made a guillotine for this mess. Why? They cut off Marie Antoinette's head, and a head rolls out from behind the guillotine, and then Electra pops back and is giving I'm still here, a little Tisha Campbell Martin. And Pray Tell is angry, and it's like, wait a minute, what? He's like, you served this look today, but where were you at the die-in? These people needed you to be at the die-in. And I'm looking around the room, and I'm like, I ain't see none of these other helpers at the die-in. I saw the House of Evangelista, but I ain't see the judges at the die-in. I ain't see nobody else from this room at the die-in. But they back there nodding their heads, and yeah, we needed you at the die-in. I'm like, girl, were you there? Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were any of y'all there? He drags her. She's like, will you just shut up and give me my scores? He's like, I don't even have to ask the judges for your scores. We already know you got grand prize. You've had grand prize this week, that week, the week before, week before, week before. And then he goes, Granny? I said, no. I said, not calling her old, and y'all the same age. Anyway, he takes the trophy, throws it on the ground. Here's your grand prize. Throws it. I was like, Pray Tell, Marsha P. Johnson, Luther King Jr., what is going on? What is going on? You went to one act up you could get snatched up meeting, and all of a sudden, you are the gay Martin Luther King, or the gay Tupac, as Justice Smollett said. I just never, like, I understand it being urgent and all of that, but girl, for you to be so viscerally angry when you didn't even want to go to the act up you could get snatched up meeting at first, just give the folks some time. Activism takes time. Everybody is not a born activist. You have to get people on board. Anywho, she's like, I ain't want to be there for, to see all y'all FAGs holding hands. And I was like, wait a minute, sis. Hold on. You don't have to lash out. Just say you ain't want to be there. She tried to say she was working, and she was like, you work at night. The die-in was in the morning. I was like, oh, well, you caught, sis, you caught. It was very Frank, shut up. Can't you see two men are talking? It was very Mr. Biggs. He kept hushing her. He talks about how 111 people went to jail. I went to jail. 111 people went to jail. I was like, but y'all knew y'all was going to jail. Electra said at the dining room table a couple days ago that she didn't want to pose for a mugshot and she would not be attending the die-in. She told you. I don't understand. But anyway, he storms out. He calls up two other commentators. Y'all come call out these categories. I got to go home. And he leaves in his, Pimp Lucius or Pimp Name Slickback leopard print ensemble. Angel walks. I think this was runway. Angel walks and obviously wins, girl. Angel and another lady who had like this super tall Grace Jones high top fade, and then another lady who just was wearing a blanket, girl. She was wearing a silk blanket. She didn't look fierce. I mean, her face was beat, but the outfit was just lackluster. But honestly, Angel's outfit really wasn't that cute either. Angel is cute, but the outfit was just basic. Grace Jones really, in my opinion, would have got 10s. But Angel got her 10s across the board. She wins. She got her trophy. She did a little titty bounce. I was like, all right, very T.S. Madison. Like she was bouncing. I was like, it's the I can't bounce because my camera gonna bounce, but it's the Queen Supreme Court. Y'all heifers, while I got y'all on the line, you homosexuals, y'all didn't call me and tell me that Kid Fury was gonna be on the Queen Supreme Court. What kind of friends are you? What kind of friends? I was disappointed. I pulled up my my Facebook and it said Kid Fury on the Queen Supreme Court, and I said, did none of the gays tell me? None of the straights either. What is wrong with y'all? Y'all didn't call. Y'all didn't whisper a word in my ear. Didn't nobody pop into my DMs? Y'all always in my Instagram DMs. Didn't nobody say nothing to me? So I'm gonna watch that tonight. Anywho, let's see. She wins, and the commentator was like, could they really walk on the runway? We know they can't because, homophobia. But if they were to walk on the runway, this represents that. And would they win? And it kind of got to Angel. She storms off, girl, and she starts crying. She crying and crying and crying. And I'm like, oh no. Deeply affected. Lil Poppy and Blanca come out, and she's like, I gotta tell y'all something and promise you won't be disappointed in me. I'm like, I can't make no promises, but I'll listen to what you got to say. She tells about the pictures. Lil Poppy was ready to kill somebody. He was ready to moiter somebody. And Blanca also was very upset. They bust into the photographer's office. Lil Poppy is beating this man nearly to death. Nearly to death. Asking for these pictures. He's cooperating. He's like, yes, they're on the desk over there. On the desk, check the desk. As he's getting pummeled in the face. And they come over, they stand over him after they get the photographs and the negatives. Because remember, this is 1990. It's not like today where you can maybe delete a picture and it's gone forever, but probably not. In the 90s, you had a picture and you had the negatives, and that was all you had. If you got rid of the picture, you ain't had a picture no more. If you got rid of the negatives, you couldn't make no more copies of the picture. So they took all of that. And Blanca stands over the photographer and says, if you ever try to blackmail my daughter again, I'm not coming back with just my son's fists. I was like, oh, okay, she gonna kill some, all right. And to me, it was like, couldn't we have had a conversation? I did not see where he had planned to blackmail Angel. I really thought that was just for his nasty, freaky private collection. I am confused as to where we got the blackmailing part from. I know Angel was concerned about whether or not he would use those photographs against her. And, she would never be able to make it in the modeling industry. But I didn't hear where he said he was going to blackmail, so I feel like they kind of leapt to a conclusion. They leapt. But whatever, girl. They got the pictures. Let's see. So Angel walks down to the contest, hands Anna Wintour Jr. these photographs. She had on a silk romper. I said, oh, oh, work. She gives, Auntie Anna the photographs, and Anna says, welcome to the next round. So she's made it into the next round. Let me see. Blanca is in the house scrubbing the floors. Angel comes up and she's like kneeling on the floor for a long time before she gets Blanca's attention. And she's like, girl, what is going on? Ain't no dirt on the floors. What's happening? Blanca tells her that, you know, she has AIDS and it's not looking the best. And, you know, Angel comforts her, as Angel has been known to do. And it just really, you know, my feelings. But Angel kind of shifts the mood and lets her know that she made it into the top 10 of this competition. And it kind of brightened my day. But then there's that looming doom and gloom that our mother Blanca may not make it. She better make it, because again, if Blanca don't make it, I'm shooting everyone. Let's see. We have a toast. We're at dinner, family dinner, and you know, cheers to Angel. Angel has news. I made it into the top 10 of the competition. Well, she's starting to tell that, but Lil Poppy, you know, gets ahead of himself and says she made it into the top 10. And she's like, you stole my thunder. Anyway, they toast. You know, cheers to Angel for making it into the top 10. And cheers to Blanca for making it happen. And it's just like, oh, this is such a nice family. I wish I had a family. I don't have a family. I just sit here in my room, sit up in my room, and talk to y'all about TV. I don't have a family. My mama be in there asleep. Anywho, it was nice though. What else, girl? I guess I could look at my notes instead of looking out into the looking out across the nightfall, the nighttime, whatever the night was, girl. I ain't got time to sing Human Nature to y'all. Electra busts in this bad little pink outfit. I said, come on. It gave me very Trina. You see the outfit, B? I'm killing you hoes. Cute. I can't do it. Cute face and A swole, killing you hoes. I got the best. Anywho, if you've never heard Trina's Killing You Hoes, go listen. It's a bop. Electra's the devil. She's the devil. She busts up in this house with an attitude. They like, girl, why you got an attitude? She like, if you don't like me, if you don't want me, then don't talk to me. She kicks the table over. Now she joining ferocity. I'm like, wait a minute. What is going on? She snapped. We see her walking through, you know, a hallway, and I'm like, oh, she finna go to her sugar daddy house. Because I was trying to see where she was getting this money from. But Candy and Lulu opened the door. I'm like, did they do everything together? Both opened this door. And she says, I'm joining your house. You're welcome. What? I don't want you at my house the way you dragged me at the end of last season. Anywho, we get to another ball, and they're getting ready to Vogue, as they call it in 2019, the old school way, which was just the way they was voguing in 1990. But you know, voguing has evolved so much now that the voguing that they were doing in this scene, they call it the old school way. So we have Damien and a bunch of other, you know, people standing in the floor, voguing, posing, you know, hand over the head, and all the original Vogue pose moves. And we get Pray Tell, this part, you can tell I'm excited. We get Pray Tell basically telling the viewing audience, because girl, everybody at the ball already knew, but telling the viewing audience about Paris Dupree. And I was so happy, I was so excited that Paris Dupree got the shout out that she deserves. Paris Dupree really did invent ballroom culture. She really, I mean, with the hand, you know, the help of the LaBeijas and the Ninjas and the Pendavises, you know, but Paris Dupree put the balls together after Crystal LaBeija, and they even mentioned that in the show. Crystal LaBeija lost one too many awards to those white queens. They came and they did their own thing, and Paris Dupree had a big hand in that. The shout out it made my night. It really did. It made the episode, you know, worthwhile for me. Of course the episode was worthwhile because it was a good episode, but watching them Vogue the old school way, talk about Paris Dupree, and I was like, well, where is Paris? Can they bring somebody on the show to represent Paris? Because Paris wasn't dead at this point, I don't think. No, she couldn't have been dead because they were filming Paris's birthday at this time. Child, it made me happy. It really did. To know that people were being educated in that moment about such a rich and luxurious culture, you know. Anywho, girl, that was my episode of Pose this week. I hope it gets more glamorous and less heavy, but I don't know if it will. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'm in it for the season, y'all. I'm in it. I don't plan to stop reviewing halfway through the season like I do with the Real Housewives and the, you know, other videos, but I'm here. Like, comment, subscribe, all the things the YouTubers say, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.